youngsters maybe how you got into this whole gig to begin with.
It's really strange because probably teaching and coaching was not something I thought about when I first went away to college, and you know, just kind of played a little bit of football and track at Dickinson State, and the coaches there then really encouraged me to get into the field, and so that's kind of how I got started. And I had graduated from here, and after a year out of college, they come call and said, "Hey, we got some openings. You want to come back and start coaching here?" And oh, okay, I guess I can do that. And so you know, wasn't a planned thing for a long range job, and a lot of things happen that you can never plan for, and that's just the kind of way it went. You know, we fell into a great class of football players in 1982 and won that first state championship, and then just from there you know, everything sort of built, and you pretty soon you're like 30 years down the road and you go, wow, that was fun. So
were those early seasons successful? Were they a struggle? Was it a challenge trying to figure everything out?
It was always a challenge. It's definitely always a challenge, but that's the thing about that we had for us, is that we settled into a coaching staff, and we had the same 6 guys coaching freshmen through varsity for over 20 years without a change in the staff. And then we changed one guy, and you know, and what I think is an extreme success of that program is that there's still 2 of those guys coaching football here, with Roger Merritt and Guy Melby still on the staff. And so to me, that's been a real key to how successful we were, and even the last 2 or 3 years, you know, we've been in the playoffs and win a game here or there. Just, you know, people don't realize that when you get in those playoffs, some good things have to happen for you. And you know, we haven't been able to get over the hump here the last couple of years, but they've done a great job of. They've actually, I guess what I would say, moved the offense into the modern era from the old days of our I formation and running the football.
7 state championships in a row is just unimaginable. I think take us back, because we weren't paying attention to that. What happened? How is that even possible? Could that be matched again at any time?
I don't know. You know, you just have to realize that somewhere along the line there was some really extremely lucky things that happened for you. You get a mentality in your program that we're the senior class that doesn't want to. We don't want to drop the ball this year, you know, and you know it's eventually going to happen. But you know, every year those guys are going to give you whatever they got, and like I said, you have some really great football games that you were able to win, but you could have just as easily lost them real easy. And so, you know, I've always told everybody, you just don't write that script. You know, you just go out and play, and for us, good things happened.
Where did the streak end? Was it in the playoffs? Was it in a championship game? Do you remember being surprised that all of a sudden it was just done? Like, whoa, wait a minute.
No, I think we got to one of those points where usually happens to you in high school, is you get to one of those points where you know, you have those classes that are sometimes loaded with players, and then you have those classes that you don't have a lot of players, and sometimes you can get by if you have one of those and you got big classes on either side. But I think you get to a point where you have a couple of those smaller classes of players, and you just don't have the bodies, and that's kind of what happens to you. It breaks the streak, and then you got to start all over trying to, you know, football's kind of a numbers game, and so you got to try and get those numbers back up, and that's kind of how it ended for us, you know.
Do you know what your guys' record was during the streak?
Yeah, we had some lot. We went. So we go 3 3 years without losing a game. We went 42 in a row.
Okay.
So that's about
Somewhere in the middle
3 or 4.
of all that, or at the
Yeah,
very beginning, or?
it wasn't at the very beginning. It was kind of in the middle of it.
Okay.
But I don't remember. Don't remember those years.
The stepping away part. Right time, big, huge challenge, something that took a while to really get used to and realize, like, oh man, I'm not out there on 2 days startup,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
It really wasn't that hard. I think about halfway through my last year, I had made that decision that this is it. And you miss kids, you miss the practice. I don't know if I miss the Friday night games. That's always such a tense time when you're just, but you miss that part of it. But when you're, like I said, a football coach, you don't miss those 2-a-days in August, and then when the season's over, you don't miss going through the helmets and sacking them up and getting them ready for reconditioning and all those other things that you have to do outside of interacting with the kids, But yeah, that's what you miss more than anything is being with your kids and with coaches. I think coaching is one of the greatest fraternities there is, and I spent 21 years on the Montana Coaches Association board and going to their clinics and when you get to the point, at one time everybody that came through the door, and then when you get to the point where you only know about half of them, you're kind of going, all right, I think this is, my wife would work the desk, and that was the same thing the last few years. So you go, man, there's more and more of these guys I don't know, But the ones that you do know, they're the guys that come through the door and put their arm around your wife and give her a big hug and say hello, and that you miss. You really miss that part of it.
What kept you busy early in retirement, and has that changed now? Is it finding different hobbies now?
I'm not very busy in retirement, but I took on a little part-time job mowing grass at the golf course, and my wife and I play quite a bit of golf during the summertime, and around here you just try to stay warm in the winter and go to a few high school activities, but we've done, the thing about it is when they say, well, you want to come back and do this and do that, you go, that wouldn't be a bad idea, but that means that if I want to go do something else, I can't. If you make that commitment, you got to be there. And somebody might come up with a nice cruise that they want to go on, and we go, hey, we'll go along on that. Oh, wait a minute, I'm busy. Well, we're not busy anymore. So that's the thing that I guess I've become pretty protective of in my retirement is the free time, because the last 13 years I coached football and was the AD. So there wasn't a lot of free time if we were doing something that revolved around activities. So I've become real protective and been able to say no a little bit more.
Well, you have to tell us now what the best hole of golf you've played. Is there a hole-in-one in there? Is there within inches on a all these years I still don't have one. So I'm jealous of my friends that have 4 or 5 of them. They make me mad, but I don't know. I'm more of a hacker than a golfer, I think. So, play for fun and relaxation and being outdoors. That's the big key. Do these guys still pick your brain then? Like they said, guy wants to get you back out here. Your wife has to take you away. But do you still find yourself coaching talk with a lot of these guys?
Sometimes when we get together, that's the one thing that I told myself is, I'm out. I'm not going to be standing over there at practice. Even though it's fun to watch practice, there's always that. Somebody's asking you this and somebody's asking you that, and I'll still mutter up in the stands sometime, like what's Coach Milby thinking about there? But that's one of the things you learn as being an AD is that you hire those people to do a job, And you know, just because you don't like what they're running or what play they called or whatever, that's just the way it is. You know, there's a lot more important things that if they're doing those, you got a successful program. You know, you don't have to. You get some people that think you got to win in every activity you have every year. Well, in a school our size, that's not going to happen because you only got so many athletes and you got to spread them around. And so there's all those other things that athletics can be without winning, and that's what I concerned myself with when I was an AD. So.